Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Threat Solutions Tactical Breakdown. Today I'm going to talk a little bit, just give a quick introduction to shooting from vehicles. All I want to do today is just basically kind of, stimulate people's brains and get them to kind of think about their own environment, their own vehicle. We spend most of or a good portion of our day, I wouldn't say most of our day, but a good portion of our day inside of our vehicles, commuting back and forth to work, from work, and then running errands, so on and so forth. If you live in one of these big cities, then I'm sure you're dealing with traffic issues just like we are down here in South Florida. And it takes an hour just to travel 18 miles. So a good portion of that is basically spent in traffic, bumper to bumper, barely moving. So what would happen if some nutjob decides to just kind of come out of his car and start shooting? There was an incident similar to that some years back, right in front of CIA headquarters in Langley, where the guy targeted some staffers or some staff from the CIA. So I don't know if he had already done some homework and had targeted his own people, those particular people, or if he just got lucky, being that he kind of lost it right in front of the entrance or near the entrance of the CIA. So, but anyway, regardless whether you're traveling back and forth, going to work, or your office is your vehicle, it's a good idea to think about what would you do if you got caught in a situation where you were stuck in your vehicle and you had to fight your way out. So that's basically what this video is going to do. All right, guys. So let's get started and talk about some of the just the general details. All right, guys. We're back. So like we talked about, quick and dirty, just brushing over some of the things to think about when you're in the vehicle. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover not only how to get out of the vehicle, considerations to take into when you're using your seatbelt. I know some people out there, even though there's a very, very few, still don't use their seatbelt. But those are, the seatbelt is a consideration. And then getting in and out of the vehicle, if that's what you so choose to do. So, first of all, the first thing you should do, if you get presented with a situation where you cannot use your vehicle to get out of, then that's when you should consider getting out of it. Okay, but your first option should try and be to, if possible, ram your way out of that bad area. Okay, if you're the first guy at the red light, go through the red light. I mean, at this point, we're talking about your life. So, if you're not, again, park your vehicle or don't stop, right up on someone's bumper. Okay, make sure that you can see the bottom of their tires. All right, this will give you a little bit more wiggle room in case you need to go forward, you need to go backwards, and maybe kind of squirm your way out of your spot. If you need to push a car out of the way, all right, well, think of that's possible. Is the vehicle you're trying to push up against the curb? If that's the case, it's not going to move once the wheels hit the curb. Think of the engine as the heavy point of the vehicle and kind of the pivot point of the vehicle. So if you need to push somebody out of the way, hit the trunk area, and hopefully maybe you'll be able to just push enough of them out of the way for your car to squeeze. Now, I understand your vehicle is going to get dinged up. Your vehicle is going to get all screwed up. It's going to get all scratched up. But at the end of the day, you need to think about what's more important: your vehicle's paint job or your life or your family's life, if you happen to have your wife and kids in the car with you. Okay. So again, if you're in the vehicle and you can get out of it by driving, by all means, do that. All right. If you're stuck in that vehicle, there's no way, just bumper to bumper, and you're just not going anywhere, and the decision has been made to exit the vehicle and get out, then that's one of the things that we're going to cover on this vehicle, or in this episode. All right, just some quick tips. All right, so let me put this thing on my head, and we'll go ahead and I'll show you what are some of the things that you need to think about. All right, guys, we're back. All right, so we're in the vehicle. All right, we're stuck in traffic, and we have two threats in front of us. Okay, they're approaching the vehicle. They're possibly going down each car and just taking a few shots into each vehicle. So you've made a decision. At this point, let's just do one person. It'll be just the driver, okay? You've made a decision that you need to get out of the vehicle, all right? So depending on where you carry your pistol, you need to think about how are you going to unbuckle the seatbelt. Are you going to grab your pistol first and then unbuckle the seatbelt, or are you going to unbuckle the seatbelt and then go ahead and draw the pistol? Currently, I'm carrying in the appendix mode, okay? You can see it right down here, all right? So what I do is when I put my seatbelt on, all right, initially the seatbelt travels over my shirt. So what I like to do is I like to kind of untuck my shirt. So if I need to get to it real quick, I can right here, all right? Immediately I have access to my pistol. Now, granted, I'm a southpaw, guys, all right? So for me, I can actually unbuckle my seatbelt and draw the pistol basically at the same time, all right? So what I end up doing is, another consideration is make sure that when you do remove your pistol, withdraw your pistol, all right, make sure you don't, try not to sweep your legs, okay? The last thing you need to do is shoot yourself in the knee or in the thigh. You got major arteries there, okay? That's just bad juju all around, all right? And now you're basically stuck here, so you're going to be more likely at the mercy of the scumbags that are coming towards you, all right? So for me personally, what I would do is I would go ahead and as I draw, all right, as I pick up my shirt to draw, I go ahead and unbuckle my seatbelt, all right, and I immediately push my seatbelt out towards the front of the muzzle. My muzzle, if you notice, is pointing towards the dashboard, okay? So I'm not muzzling my body, okay? I'm not muzzling my legs. I reach over, grab the door. Now at this point, one thing that you need to consider is when you fling a car door open, it has a tendency to bounce back and come back, all right? Bounce back and shut. So once you get that door open, you need to stick your foot right at the base of it, all right? Don't just immediately put your foot on the ground, because if that, sorry guys, I turned it off by accident. If that door happens to kind of come back and smash your leg, it's gonna hurt, and depending on the force, it could definitely be something debilitating that's gonna make it even harder for you to get away, all right? So kick the door open, all right? Hold it with your foot. Once the door is stable, at that point, if you've made the decision to exit the vehicle, you can. From here, if you need to lay down some sort of suppressive fire or engage the threat himself, all you have to do is just lean out, okay? If you want to stabilize your hands with the frame of the inside frame of the vehicle, you can, okay? Put your hand up against, get a good sight picture, and then immediately engage the threat, all right? If you want to do the same thing while engage the threat, then exit the vehicle, you can as well. Engage the threat. Once the threat actually reacts to you, forces him to get behind cover, all right, leave the door open, exit the vehicle, okay, maintain, if you know where the threat is, try and maintain eye contact or sight on that threat, so you know where he's at all times, okay? He doesn't have an opportunity to kind of go 2 or 3 cars down without you realizing, and maybe all of a sudden kind of pop out of your flank, all right? Come up behind you, come out, go back, and then get behind the vehicle, all right? And then at that point, you can use the vehicle and kind of leapfrog your way out of the situation, all right? So that's one way of doing it. If you got multiple threats, all right, then you're gonna do the same thing, all right? You're gonna go ahead and let's go through the entire motion together again, just so you guys get just another repetition that we get to practice. Okay, pop my shirt out, all right, there's the threat, all right? I come up, I grab I get a good grip on my handgun, I draw, I pop it around, I open the door. Now from this point on, if you have multiple threats, like say one's off to your left, the other one's off to your right, we slice the pie just like we would in, we treat this like a corner or an angle like we would in any other corner or any other angle, okay? In a house, building, hallway, street, whatever the case may be, okay? We initiate with the first contact that we see, the first threat that we see, and then at that point, once the door's been stabilized and it's safe to put your foot on the ground, okay, and at that point, we can go ahead and focus on the second threat further off to our right. And again, we do the same thing. We come out. If you can kind of keep an eye on the threat, move to the back of the vehicle, and at that point, if you need to do suppressive fire back and forth and leapfrog out of the situation. All right, so pretty simple. Well, it's relatively simple, but again, I suggest everybody does this. You can run this dry in your house, in your driveway. If you don't want it to run in your driveway because you're wondering what your neighbors are thinking, or they're going to look at you like you're nuts, then you could still do it in the garage if you have maybe possibly a 2-car garage. Just options for people to try out, okay? But I definitely suggest that you get in the car and you actually go through the motion. So if, God forbid, something ever does occur, all right, then your mind has already played it through in its, in its head. You've already played it through in your head. You've basically role-played it before, okay? So as far as the brain is concerned, as far as your mind is concerned, if you have to do it under real-world conditions, it's not the very first time that you've actually done the moves, okay? So, all right, so let's go ahead and we'll engage these 2 threats in front of us right now, and then later on we'll talk about what happens when you have other family members in the vehicle. All right, guys, so eyes and ears on, and let's go hot here now in a second. We'll get set up. All right, guys, we're back. So like I mentioned before, we're going to go ahead and engage the first 2 targets that are in front of us, okay, doing exactly what we just talked about. All right, so see 2 guys coming at you. My shirt's already untucked as I'm driving, okay? That's the first thing I do when I first get in the car. Right, so we go ahead and pick up our shirt, make it a nice and aggressive pull so we clear everything properly. Go ahead and draw the pistol muzzle downrange, all right? Make sure it goes around the pistol, open the door, control it with your foot, come out, stabilize it on the doorway, and engage the threat. All right, we engage the first one. Now that the door is stabilized, we can put our foot on the floor and we engage the second target. All right, at that point we come out, okay, continue and muzzle towards the enemy. All right, and we get behind our vehicle. All right, leave the door open. If he happens to shoot through it, it's just another barrier or another piece of cover. Even if it's not very effective, depending on the weapon system, it's still cover. Hopefully, it might help you. It might even help you hide a little bit, okay? Don't close the door. There is a time when we close the door, but it'll be touched on another segment, okay? So first threat has gone down, or if he doesn't, again, we lay some more suppressive fire. We keep engaging that threat, and we leapfrog back as needed, okay? So pretty simple, all right, guys? Nothing really to it. Again, be aggressive, and remember, you're going to be in traffic, so it's imperative, guys, that you get a good sight picture. Don't just start flinging rounds down range, because remember, you're in the middle of the street. There's going to be other people. There's going to be innocent bystanders down the street from these guys. Okay, so if you're basically down a long street, all right. So if you miss a round, it can very easily impact somebody that doesn't deserve it. All right. So that's it. All right, that's pretty simple for one individual. All right, so next time we'll talk about how to do it if you have a family member in the vehicle. All right. All right, guys, now let's talk a little bit about what happens if you're engaged off the right side. Earlier we talked a little bit about somebody engaging you off from the front. Now let's talk a little bit about from the right hand side. If you're by yourself, again, it's pretty simple. All right, you're going to draw the pistol. I'm left-handed, so for me, shooting off to the right, it's a lot more comfortable. Okay, I draw the pistol, I twist my upper body, and I go ahead and I engage. Okay, you rotate your upper body. If you're right-handed, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, rotate and engage. All right. If you need to kind of lean back a little bit, you can. Personally, I would try and lean forward. The more weight you got behind the gun, the better recoil control you're going to have. So try not to lean back if you don't have to. All right. If you have somebody in the front seat with you, which could very well happen, you know, family travels with us all the time. So two things can happen. One, they can glue themselves to the back, to the front of that seat. All right, lean as far back as possible. You can place your hand on top of their chest just to make sure that they don't get startled and all of a sudden kind of, you know, come down. So you're controlling them and you engage the threat with one hand. The other thing that they can do is they can basically kind of lean forward and put their head down into the center console, and you hold the back of their head, or you put your hand between their shoulder blades, and once again you can either hold them down with your elbow as such. Okay, this way it allows you to shoot both handed, yet at the same time your upper body weight is on the back of their shoulder blades, okay, kind of preventing them from coming up. All right, allowing you to shoot with both hands, or again, you shoot with one hand and putting one hand on the small of their back, on the between the shoulders of their back. Okay. Once you've engaged the threat, if he's down, great. If he's not down, okay, then coming out of the vehicle is, again, something that you really need to discuss and you need to talk about. If your spouse has a weapon system, then the way you would do it is she would draw, start engaging the threat off to the right. As she's engaging the threat, okay, you come out of the vehicle from the right hand or from the left hand side. You open the car, or you open the door. All right, you find the threat, you start engaging them. All right, or if you need to go all the way around the door, you go around the door and engage them from the hood. Once you've engaged the threat from the hood, at that point, all right, your loved one does not get out of the vehicle from the side that she is receiving fire from. She does not get out of the right side. That's where the threat is. She needs to crawl over the center console and come out of the driver's side, okay? And then at that point, when she exits the vehicle, she closes the door. Remember, you're over here by the hood. You're laying down suppressive fire, giving her the opportunity to get out. You're keeping that threat busy while she extricates herself from the vehicle. Once she's out, she closes the door. So if she goes to the back of the car, to the trunk, and you're in the hood, you don't have the doorway in the middle kind of covering up your communications. All right, you want to be able to see each other, and then at that point, whatever direction that you guys both decide to go, then you leapfrog, you bound back to either further away, you know, or get more vehicles between you and them. Okay, you cover, she moves, she covers, you move. Okay, and then that's how you do. The repetitive process continues to go on that way until you can get to a safe location where you can either call 911 or just basically get away. All right, I don't have a partner here today to kind of show you that, so I'm just kind of giving you an idea. If you got any questions, just contact me through the channel and I'll answer whatever I can. All right, so I'll show you how to come out of the vehicle again and just kind of shoot over the hood. It's real simple. It's very similar to how we did, and just you're coming around the door and engaging the threat. All right, and I'll also show you how to engage the threat from inside the vehicle. All right, okay, and coming back up. All right, guys, like we just talked about, we're going to go ahead and engage a threat off to our right-hand side. Again, if you have a loved one, okay, she would go ahead and initiate the engagement of the threat off to the right. You come out of the vehicle and you go to either the hood or the trunk. All right, then you lay down suppressive fire while she comes out of the car through the left side. Okay, she has to jump over the center console and then go to the opposite spot that you're in. Meaning, if you're in the trunk, she moves to the hood and she closes the door when she finally makes it out. So you guys don't have something blocking your view from each other, so you guys can communicate. All right, so I'm just going to engage a threat right now, like if I was by myself. All right, so let's go at this. All right, so all of a sudden you got a threat. He comes up, you draw, engage. All right, once you're happy with it, you go ahead, you control the door, and you come out. All right, you can either keep cover from here if you can see him. If not, you need to go ahead and either move to the trunk or you move to the hood of the vehicle where you can kind of keep eyes on him, okay? If you can, try not to lose sight of him, all right? Because you don't know if he's actually all the way down or not, and the next thing you know, if you lose sight of him, he happens to get up, move, now you don't know where he's at, all right? So, now, if you got somebody, if you have a loved one in the vehicle where she's not armed, and it's basically up to you to get her out safely, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna draw, okay? You're gonna put a hand on her chest, all right, on her upper chest to make sure, or his upper chest, make sure that they're glued behind that. They don't just get startled and all immediately kind of, you know, try and get as low to the ground as possible, which would be, I would imagine, a normal reaction. And then you actually have to engage with one hand, okay, until the threat is down, all right? Or you make him react, okay? At that point, everything else is the same. You go ahead, you come out of the vehicle, you maintain your field of fire, control the threat. She comes out, once again, over the center console and out of the car, and then you grab her and you leapfrog out of there, okay? While you control the threat, all right? Very simple, very easy to do, all right? Not much to this. But again, the key thing to remember is don't ever come out on the side of fire. The side that you're taking fire from is not the side that you need to exit the vehicle, okay? If you're taking fire from the front and you need to hop over the back seat while somebody lays suppressive fire through the windshield, then you do so. If you can manage to do it through the doors, then that's also an option. But you know, don't immediately just dismiss the fact that you can also kind of go out the back, okay? So again, it all depends on the situation. Just, you know, something to think about, something to you know, to possibly put into play if you need to. All right, okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing, but we're actually gonna do it off of the left side. All right, okay, now as you can see, now we have the thread off to our left side. All right, same concept. All right, if you are left-handed, okay, as I am, you're gonna draw the pistol, and here you're either gonna have to really stick your hands out the window and twist your upper body, or right, what you can do is kind of lean back a little bit, and just to give you that just enough of a twist to be able to engage your threat. All right, if you're right-handed, this is where it becomes easier for you. All right, as a right-handed shooter, you don't have to twist this far, and you can still engage the threat. It's very similar to engaging moving targets, you know, moving laterally, okay, but not doing the side step, okay? When you're actually, your feet are facing one direction, but you really got to twist your upper body, all right, to engage the threat left or right, okay? If you guys have ever done that before, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so same concept. You twist your upper body, okay? You come out, you draw the pistol, all right? You got your seatbelt on, all right? You know you're probably going to have to move, so I go ahead and untuck my shirt just so I can get to my pistol relatively quickly, all right? I come out, as I'm drawing the pistol, I control the seatbelt, come out, engage. All right, and at that point, if I'm sufficiently happy with what's going on, if I know he's the only threat, I might actually come out here. Since I'm the one that has the gun, I might come out this way. If not, then guess what? I'm crawling over the center console and I'm going out that side. All right, so you know, if you have the gun, situation dependent, where you could possibly get away with coming out of the side that you're taking fire. But if you haven't neutralized him and he's still taking fire and you need to get out of this vehicle, because vehicles are bullet magnets, they attract rounds, all right, then you might have to go out this way. Just do it as quickly as possible, because I'm sure he's not going to wait for you to get out of the vehicle. He's actually going to take that opportunity to see that you're not returning fire, and he might actually bump up his aggression a bit, okay? So again, something to think about, all right? Besides that, it's a simple concept. If you need to open the door, once again, control the door with your foot. I can't emphasize that enough, okay? It hurts when that door slams around your ankle, okay? Or even your upper shin. It hurts, and you will be limping around. Okay, so again, control the door before actually getting out and putting your foot on the ground. All right, guys? So, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else besides shooting through the windshield, and I'm not going to shoot through the windshield here because this is my vehicle. So, but again, it's you know, it's simple if you know it, I guess. Just, you know, some things to consider, some things to think about, and above all, make sure that you guys are role playing. Include your families in it, okay? Because more than likely, you're going to have your families, okay, in the vehicle with you, if something happens, all right? You know, if it's during the week and you're commuting to work, maybe you're by yourself. If it's on a weekend, you got the whole family, you're just coming back from dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever the case may be, a movie, okay? So your kids need to know what to do. Everybody needs to know what their part of the plan is, okay? And hopefully you have a spouse that also carries. That gives you a tremendous advantage, because now you can both lay down, suppress a fire, and at the same time be able to move. So it's a huge advantage, okay? But just, it needs to be coordinated, it needs to be synced, and it needs to be planned, okay? So you're both not kind of doing your own thing. All right, you both do your own thing, and the next thing you know, he thinks you got the kids, he thinks, she thinks, you have the kids, and vice versa. And then the next thing, the kids are still in the vehicle, they're crying, they're frozen. So you definitely need to talk, like anything else, plan it ahead, talk about it, and more than likely, you guys will come out hopefully unscathed. All right. Again, if you got any questions regarding this, again, real brief, just kind of skimming the top, shooting and moving around a little bit of vehicles. If you got any questions, give me a call, and I'll try my best to answer them. All right. Be safe. Again, don't take, try and get some training, and be safe. Threat Solutions out.